And I committed that we would provide $500 million beyond the 80 million we've already done, $500 million doses of Pfizer vaccine, which we contracted to pay for. In addition to money we put into the COVID project, which is that COVID is, I know you all know, but a lot of people may not know what COVID is. That is a system whereby they're going to provide funding for states to be able to get access to vaccines on their own as well. And we've agreed to work together so that the world is better prepared to detect and deal with future pandemics, because there will be future pandemics. We have I'm sure you've seen it. If you haven't, you'll get it. A joint statement we put out of the G7. You've seen it, I'm sure. And we are committed to follow on to do some significant work, including not only how we deal with the distribution and help in getting shots in arms for the rest of the world, but how we're going to deal with putting together a mechanism to anticipate and deal with and be aware of the next pandemic when it comes along. And there will be others.
Mr. President, Vladimir Putin, thank you. Vladimir Putin, who you'll be seeing in a few days in Geneva, said just a couple of days ago that he believed that U.S.-Russia relations were at a low point. In what concrete ways could your summit change that? And then secondly, on the same topic, you have said previously and in the run-up to the summit that you would be unafraid to call out Russia's disruptive actions like cyber hacks, Ukraine, election interference. But you're not having a joint press conference with Putin. Why not take the chance to stand side by side with him and say those things to him with the world watching?
Well, let me make it clear. I think he's right. It's a low point. And it depends on how he responds to acting consistent with international norms. The press should not know, but this is not a contest about who can do better in front of a press conference or try to embarrass each other. It's about making myself very clear what the conditions are to get a better relationship with Russia. Don't doubt that I'll be very straightforward with him about our concerns. And I will make clear my view of how that meeting turned out, and he'll make clear how from his perspective, how it turned out. But I don't want to get into being diverted by did they shake hands, how far did they talk, who talked the most, and the rest. Now, he can say what he said the meeting was about, and I will say what I think the meeting was about. That's how I'm going to handle it.
What do you think China needs to do to ease tensions?
I think China has to start to act more responsibly in terms of international norms on human rights and transparency. We don't know, we haven't had access to the laboratories to determine whether or not, I have not reached a conclusion because our intelligence community is not certain yet, whether or not this was a consequence of from the marketplace of a bat and interfacing with animals in the environment that caused this COVID-19, or whether it was an experiment gone awry in a laboratory. It's important to know the answer to that because we have to have access. We have to build a system whereby we can know when we see another lack of transparency might produce another another pandemic. We have to have access. The world has to have access. So we're trying to figure out at the G7 whether we could put together an international basis upon which we could have a bottom line with what the transparency accounted for.
All right. The G7 summit between President Joe Biden and Vladimir Putin of Russia is complete. And as we found from the New York Times, you can't trust what the news media says about many topics. Here they labeled satire site Babylon Bee as misinformation instead of a satire site as they actually were. So let's go to the actual source here for today's video. Let's ask Joe Biden if he can take any questions.
I'm going to get in trouble with my staff. Yeah, go ahead, but I pretended you didn't answer you.
So the very first question should have been, President Biden, who is ordering you whom you can and cannot speak to, and why are they more powerful than the President of the United States? Let's see, Biden gave Putin a list of 16 critical infrastructure entities off limits to cyber attacks. This is just the most bizarre thing I've ever heard of from a summit. Biden said to Putin, "We'll find out whether we have a cybersecurity arrangement that begins to bring some order." I looked at him, I said, "How would you feel if ransomware took on the pipelines from your oil fields?" He said it would matter. "This is not just about our self-interest," the president said. So President Biden has a specific list of questions that he's allowed to take from specific reporters. We don't know who is ordering Biden to take questions. We do know that Taiwan is reporting incursions by dozens of Chinese warplanes, so apparently China does not particularly fear anything Joe Biden says or does. The Russian Navy, west of Hawaii, is taunting the United States, so the Russian Navy does not fear what Joe Biden says or does. Let's see how Joe Biden speaks to a female reporter at CNN.
Why are you so confident he'll change his behavior, Mr. President?
Yeah, I'm not confident in changing behavior. What the hell? What do you do all the time?
So
when did I say I was confident?
You said in the next 6 months you'll be able to determine.
What I said was, let's get it straight. I said what will change their behavior is if the rest of the world reacts to them and it diminishes their standing in the world. I'm not confident of anything. I'm just stating the fact.
But given his past behavior has not changed, and in that press conference after sitting down with you for several hours, he denied any involvement in cyber attacks. He downplayed human rights abuses. He even refused to say Alexei Navalny's
Look at the reporter
name.
angrily looking at her.
does that
How dare you
equate to a
question our leader?
constructive meeting as President Putin
You don't understand that, you're in the wrong business.
It's a summit with China.
You don't understand that, you're in the wrong business. This is the sexist Joe Biden, the bitter, defensive, I know, brittle, defensive Joe Biden. He has absolutely no idea how to be president of the United States. He's not even qualified to be your local dog catcher. Thank you.